My name's Mark. I'm Vice President of BT Media and Broadcast. So, for those who don't know, we're the media services part of BT. We're not BT Sport or BT TV, or indeed BT Group. We're a separate part, which is designed, our only raison d'etre is to service the global media industry.
This industry is facing unprecedented changes right now. The whole broadcast industry, the emerging new markets around broadcast, new ways of consuming video. It's actually not an industry which has a lot of money in it comparatively to the major global industries. So it's important that as a supply community and as a trade community and as a broadcast community, we all pull together and address the same issues together. It's pointless trying to compete on a technology battleground like that.
And at the heart of that, I guess, is networking. So we would purport to do a lot of other things in the value chain, but our kind of core business is moving media around in a heavy lifting environment. And I'd agree with everything that's just been said in terms of software-defined networks aren't new. We've been building networks in IP for, well, I think 2004 was the first one that we put out there. And that involved taking MPLS, which is a very kludgy telco type of network, and breaking it down to IP and then rebuilding it again the other end. Not the ideal thing to do, but we were using IP. I think we'd argue that we've been using software definition to run that network to a certain extent. But everything we're doing going forward in terms of client networks, and as many of you will be aware, we rolled out a new network for ITV 2 years ago. We're midpoint through rolling out an entire new network infrastructure for the BBC right now. Our underlying guiding principles for that is that it's an IP network driving uncompressed wavelengths. Because, what do our clients, and let's put it at the client head on here, what do our clients want from their broadcast networks? Well, they want them to get cheaper, but they want to do more with them. So, emerging standards of 4K, et cetera, et cetera. So addressing that by going down that road, but of course, it's a minefield because the standards are emerging. There's a couple of different standards kind of competing at the moment, although it looks like they're going to start to even out. There's interoperability, so we're spending a lot of time with hardware in our labs at the moment, making sure that everything works together. And there's also the thing that we must never forget, and John, you know me, it's all about the craft in the industry, is that this audience, and indeed this forum, and the industry that we work in, is a craft industry. So we're talking about, on the face of it, perhaps replacing a lot of very, very experienced broadcast hardware manufacturers with IT. Now, 10 years ago that would have been heresy. It's now looking possible, but do we really want to do that? And I would suggest that there's a blend. There's a blend of the understanding of the industry and the flexibility of IT. And neither should be denigrating the other.
I know your sort of feet are pretty firmly in our broadcast and media industry, but from the BT perspective, do you have any insights from what several years ago the telco industry went through in their transition? Is there anything we can gain from that? That's different. One of the differences is, you say, we're a creative and a craft industry, but question still stands.
Yeah, from a telco perspective, an IT perspective, it's just take a deep breath and do it, actually. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the revolution in MPLS networks, which really kind of run the data industry right now. Although, again, the groundswell, headwinds, whatever, are now pushing everybody towards that kind of open IP standard. So, BT, my parent company, is taking that very, very seriously, because, clearly from a UK perspective, it's a massive infrastructure. From a global perspective, it's got a network running into 170 countries. So, I would say, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.